Welcome to LoonWeb, the online platform of the Vermont Loon Conservation Project. In this video, we will review how you can input your observations for your LoonCount and LoonMonitor surveys. So first, you can open up LoonWeb at vt.loonweb.org. You must be signed into your account to submit a survey. This is so we will know who the observations are coming from. Check your profile icon in the upper right corner of the screen. If it's filled in green like this, then you are already logged in. If it's white, then you will need to sign in before continuing. To get to the survey, you can click the survey button. It will bring you to the new survey page. So today I'm going to be entering the survey as if I had gone out on the lake and written down what I saw. And now I'm coming back to put those observations into my computer. To begin a survey, you will need to tell us which lake or zone you are on. I can type the name of the lake or zone in this box and click that name from the drop-down list. Next, I will enter the day that I went out to survey. In this case, let's say I went out on July 16th. And then I will enter the time that I started the survey. This is the time I started looking for loons and does not include any time it took me to travel to the lake. That information is collected separately by the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department. Since I'm on my computer, I can also leave the GPS track on No. Throughout the survey, you will also see these little question mark buttons. If you're not sure what you're supposed to do or record there, you can click this up to bring a little pop-up that will tell you what to do. Once I've finished filling in all of these boxes, I'll press Start Survey. The main goal of these projects is to keep account of the loons in Vermont. To do this, I want to make a note of the time, location, and number of loons that I see during my survey. I will only want to record the first sighting of each loon, or a group of loons who are all within 400 meters of one another. And don't worry, you don't have to be exact on the 400 meters. I'll keep a close eye on their movements throughout my survey so that I don't accidentally count the same bird twice. And you do not want to be counting flying birds. So let's say I saw two loons that were about 50 meters apart. One that was sitting on a nest and another that was diving nearby. To add this observation into my survey, I will click the Add Loons button. On this page, I will add the time that I first saw them, the number of adults, chicks, and subadults that I saw in that observation, and I will mark on nest because one of the loons that I saw was sitting on a nest, and I will also mark in pair because the second loon was close by to the nest and they both appeared calm. I can also add any extra comments to this comments box. Finally, I will click Edit Location, and this will drop a green pulsing loon icon on my lake map. I can click this icon and move it to wherever I saw my loons. Then I will click the icon again and click Done. This will turn the icon blue and I will no longer be able to move it. This makes it so that I don't accidentally move my icon later on. If I made a mistake or I want to see what I recorded for that observation, I can click it again and click Edit to see or edit any information. I can also delete this observation from this page. If I need to move the icon, I can click it and click Move and move it to a different part of the lake. So let's say that later on in my survey, I saw another loon that was over 400 meters away from the pair, and I was pretty sure it was a totally new loon. I can click Add Loon again and follow the same process to add that loon to my lake. The survey is automatically saving everything I do as I go. So at any point, if I exit the survey, I can go back in and continue editing from exactly where I was. Now that my loons are on my lake, I can add any information I have about their nest. Now, nests only need to be recorded when the loons are actually interacting with it. This includes if they are bringing nesting materials in the spring or sitting on the nest during the summer. Do not approach nests closer than 200 meters to collect any data. Once chicks have hatched and the loons are no longer using the nest, you do not have to add it to the survey. Since one of the loons in my observations was sitting on a nest, I will click Add Nest to record it. On this page, I will record the time that I first approached the nest, This is the first nest that I know of for the season, so leave this nest attempt at 1. If you are doing LoonMonitor, you can use the nest attempt to keep track of any re-nests. I will then click the button for the type of surface that the nest is built on. We'll say that this one was on the shoreline. Then I will add a nesting code. To find out what each of these mean, you can hover your mouse over the options and it will explain. This loon was sitting on the nest and there are no other chicks hatched yet, so I will count it as incubating. I also have space to add any additional comments to explain my choices. Finally, just like the loon icons, I will click the Edit Location button and move my nest icon to where I saw the nest. I will then click Done, and you'll notice that because the nest and the loons are in the same location, the two icons have merged into one. Now, if I want to edit either of these observations, I can click this icon and it will separate them, and I can again go in and click Edit to change what I saw. This is the end of the required data for the survey. If this is all of the data that I wish to record, I can then click End Survey, which I will describe at the end of this video. There are 3 optional sections of the survey. They're all found here on the bottom tabs of the page. So far, we've been on the Observation tab, which shows my loon and nest map. Now, if I want to record predators, I can click on the Predators tab to record any interactions with other animals that I saw during the survey. So because bald eagles are the primary predators of loon chicks, I will click Eagle Present at any time that I see a bald eagle during my survey. The rest of the buttons are for recording any animal, including humans, who are interacting with the loons. And I can click multiple of these buttons. Let's say I saw a dog running around the shoreline near the nest. I will click the dog button, and in the comments I can explain what I saw. Anything I add to this page will be saved automatically without needing to click any save buttons. And I can leave and return at any point during the survey to add more data. My second optional data section is adding behavior. I will record behavior anytime I see any interactions with an intruding loon. And this map will show what happened during my survey. So to get to this map, I click the Behavior tab, and to add a single behavior observation, I click Add Behavior. I will add the time that I saw the behavior occur. Let's say at 11:30 a.m. That second loon swam closer to the pair, but didn't end up interacting with them. So I will click the Intruder button and add comments on what happened. Similar to the loon and the nest icons, I will click Add Location to mark where that behavior occurred on my map. If I need to edit that observation, I can click the icon and click Edit to change what I saw, or delete. Let's say that at 11:45, the 2 of the loons began circling each other. I click Add Behavior again, fill in the new time and the new behavior that I saw. And where I saw that happen on the map. To learn more about loon interaction behaviors, you can watch Eric's Learning the Language of Loons webinar on this channel. Finally, I have the option to add general comments about the survey. These are for any comments that don't fit with any of the particular observations. Now, once I have finished adding all of my observations, I can click the End Survey button. This will bring up a summary of my survey information, and I can edit any of these fields. For instance, if I made a mistake in the beginning on the date of my survey, I can correct it here. I will also add the time that I finished my survey. Again, this is the time that I stopped watching the loons and does not include the time it took me to return to my house from the lake. If I was boating on the lake, I can add an estimate of the distance I traveled in miles. If you watched from shore, you can leave this part blank. I will also add the number of observers who are with me, including myself. Let's say I had 2 other people out on the water with me. I will then mark if I surveyed by boat, while traveling along the shoreline, or from a single point on the shoreline. Finally, I will mark whether I surveyed all or part of the lake. If I select part, I will be asked to estimate the percent of the lake that I think I covered. And don't worry, it's okay if you don't get it exactly right. It turns out people are pretty good at rough estimates of this. I'll then have the option to mark the weather and wave conditions during my survey. And when I'm done with this page, I'll have 3 options. I can click Edit to go back into the survey to continue adding observations. I can click Save if I want to leave now but come back later and continue editing. Or I can click Upload to send the survey to VCE. Once you click an option, it will bring you to the History tab. This is a page that will show you all of your previous surveys. You can go in and edit any of your surveys at any point, even if they are already uploaded. Make sure that you check this page once in a while to make sure you don't have any unuploaded surveys. You can click the New Survey tab to get back to that survey main page, or the Account tab to find your adopted lakes. You can click these buttons to automatically fill in the lake on a new survey. You can also use the Account tab to find the menu button and get to the survey how-to instruction page. Or click the Sign Up button to be brought back to the main LoonWeb page. If you have any questions, need help, or run into any issues with this platform, please email me, Dana Williams, at dwilliams@vtecostudies.org.